Have you finished your myofunctional therapy training but still don't know how to start your business? Are you tired of waiting for clients, stuck in a job that's become your safety net, or letting perfectionism and fear keep you from taking action? Ooh, I get it, because I've been there. Hey, I'm Carmen, a recovering dental hygienist who left burnout and back pain behind to build $1 million myofunctional therapy business. But when I started, I had no idea how to get clients or even how to run a business. Nobody taught that part in my training, so I had to build my own plan. One simple strategy, system, and step at a time, and I now help other therapists do the same. If you're ready to turn your training into a profitable, freedom-filled business with clear systems, steady clients, and predictable income, join me inside the Profitable Myofunctional Therapist Facebook community. You will get tactical tools, real-life strategies, and support to help you stop overthinking and start growing with confidence. Wherever you're listening, find the link and join us today. Now, let's get on to the show. This is crazy. I didn't necessarily suffer from imposter syndrome at the beginning. It's weird that for me in my business, it has popped up just from time to time, randomly. If you've finished your myofunctional therapy training and feel stuck on how to start, grow, or simplify your business, welcome, my friend. I'm Carmen, a dental hygienist who once sat right where you are, trained, motivated, but totally unsure how to turn that training into a real profitable business. If you're ready to attract consistent clients, create predictable income, and simplify your business, grab your coffee and your courage, my friend. Let's make your myo business make sense and a whole lot of dollars. All right. Hello, friend, and welcome back to the podcast. In this episode, I am going to be giving you some tactical actions that you can take to overcome imposter syndrome so that you can become a super successful myofunctional therapist. All right, how do I know that you need this? This is probably one of the biggest areas that I coach on and that I get emails about from trained therapists who are suffering from imposter syndrome. Many of you guys who are listening to this or who have been in my sphere for a long time, you are dental hygienists, which means that by nature, you tend to suffer from what I call the 3 Ps that kill: perfectionism, procrastination, and people pleasing. And these are all related to imposter syndrome. So when I sat down to draft this or just kind of make some notes, I really was thinking about when I have experienced this. Now, this is crazy. I didn't necessarily suffer from imposter syndrome at the beginning. It's weird that for me in my business, it has popped up just from time to time, randomly. Now, if you're a dental hygienist, you can appreciate how you feel as a dental hygienist when you have somebody in your chair who uses really big dental words, but they basically have no credibility to back it up, or they use it at the wrong time, when they're talking about something and they're just using these big conflated words, to sound like they're super fancy. For whatever reason, when I have experienced imposter syndrome, it's when I have those type of people in my chair, because it's kind of like, oh my goodness, Susie Q is using all these big words. I don't know who she is or how does she know all of this stuff. So it is weird that there's times like that. Now, I do want to tell you a story about a time where it kind of reared its ugly head. And I grew so much during this time. So I'm going to make this story the Reader's Digest version. So I had a client who we had prepared for a frenectomy. If you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that we prepare 2 months ahead, okay? The reason that I do that is because I have clients come from other countries, and the last thing that I ever want to happen is them be told that they're not prepared. It has never happened, and Lord willing, it will never happen. But this particular client was so excited for her release, and the rule of thumb is that I meet with clients within 48 hours after their release to do their post-procedure therapy. So in this particular given day, I met with her that evening. I'm always so excited because I want to hear all the deets. And we connected and I said, "Yay, how did it go today?" And she goes, "Well, I was told that I did not need a frenectomy." Now, let me back up just a little bit. So in my practice, clients are required to be willing to travel up to 8 hours one way to work with one of my preferred practitioners, somebody that I know, like, and trust. I know how they work, all of that. So oftentimes what happens in my business is somebody is traveling in to see a provider, and that provider is going to do the assessment and do the procedure on the same day, because at this point in my business, they have worked with me long enough. They know that if Carmen sent Susie Q is going to be ready to go. So that was the case in this situation. She traveled a few hours to get to this doctor. And to my understanding, he had asked her, like, what problem is it that you're looking to solve? And her explanation was tightness, upper body tightness and tension. And at the same time, this client was also working for a chiropractor who was, kind of doing his own case study of watching her through this process, preparing for the release, what it was going to be like after the fact. Basically because he wanted to see how it went with her, because they had already identified several clients that they knew had tongue ties. So when my practitioner asked her, basically what was the thing she was wanting to solve, and she said upper body tension, he had also gotten some history from her about her being in a car accident back in college, and he just really felt like she was maybe not going to get relief from that because it had happened so long ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. And he just felt like she was doing so good with myofunctional therapy, which she was. Those first 2 sessions, she had already had significant improvements. And he just felt like she could continue getting better. She could continue successfully doing her myofunctional therapy, and she didn't need the release. Now, if you are already practicing and seeing clients, you know that not all tongue ties need to be released. And sometimes people just want it done because they think, it's going to be the magic pill. So she was a little bit disappointed, but he told her, "I think you should just keep doing your myofunctional therapy. And if you do it, for a couple more sessions and you still want the release, then come back to me and I will do it." So I was a little bit taken aback, and taken aback is not the right word. I was very frustrated. And of course, I'm meeting this client face to face, and she's saying, "But I wanted the release so bad." And also in that same vein, so it just really, that's where imposter syndrome raised its head, because I was like, wait, at this point, I had served hundreds and hundreds of clients, and most of them do have tongue ties. And so suddenly I was questioning my skills on why did this happen? So also, not to mention, in the week or 2 following this debacle with her, I had at least a dozen releases planned elsewhere, many of those with that provider. So I met with her and we talked about it, and she said, "Well, I want the release." And I said, "Okay, well, I had gone back and reviewed her notes and everything, and I stood firmly on the fact that I felt like she would benefit from a frenectomy." So that was our plan. She was just going to wait out the time and go get the release done. So we did another session. She just waited the time out. She went back to him. She got the release. She had amazing with a capital A results. I'm telling you, her before and after of just the head mobility was just night and day, to the point where he apologized that he had really misunderstood what she wanted to get out of having the release done. So let me back up just a little bit. So after this had happened with her, I, of course, have a phone call with him. on like a Friday afternoon. Both, he wasn't working, I wasn't working. We just had this conversation, and I just wanted to make sure that we were really on the same page. And I said to him, like, do you read my reports? There are the components of the tongue tie, the tongue mobility and the protrusion and the elevation and all of these things. But then there's also components of the tongue tie where the client is just more sensitive to the symptoms of the tongue tie and also, the compensation. So he completely understood. He also told me that, well, you send 8-page reports, and I'll be honest, while they are thorough, I don't have time to read all of those. So that's a whole nother conversation. But basically, in the end, he said, hey, I take the liability and the responsibility for doing a procedure that doesn't need to be done. So, I'm not going to do them if I don't think that they need to be done. And then in the end, like I said, he apologized that she really did need to have it done. So for me, imposter syndrome really raised its head when I started questioning. So how I handled that particular situation is, so I said that was a Friday when I talked to him. So on Saturday, I gathered and I met with every single one of my clients that I had scheduled for tongue tie releases in the next couple weeks after that. And I just really sat down and got real with myself. Like, Carmen, you're not over identifying tongue ties here just because you're afraid that they won't do business with you if they don't have a tongue tie, right? So I went back to the very beginning and I just justified on every single person that if that doctor or Dr. Zoggy or Dr. Bieneman or Dr. whoever who does, amazing releases for me, if they called on the phone and said, hey, why do you think that Susie Q needs to have a release? I could look at my report and say, well, this, and this. So it has never happened again. But I struggled for a good little bit after that because at that time, my business was so successful. I was doing hundreds of $1,000s a year or every year in therapy, and it just really made me question my skills. So that is my personal story, the biggest story that I have about imposter syndrome. And then when it happens, it still happens. You guys, I have helped so many people. And it's just weird, random things where I am like, what is that? And why is this happening? So that's why we are going to be diving into this today in this conversation. So let's first start with the definition of imposter syndrome. I had to look it up for you. It says that imposter syndrome is a psychological condition that makes someone doubt their abilities or accomplishments or fear of being exposed as a fraud. Okay, and I know that perhaps that might be you. I know it's a lot of you because, like I said, this is probably the number one thing that I coach on. So I'm going to teach you some tactical steps on how I want you to handle this, and it's going to get you back in the game faster. Okay, so step 1, is it true? I cannot tell you how I felt when my own business coach once asked me that about the same thing. So is it true? If you're listening and wondering where you fit into my world, let me break it down for you. We have 2 very popular yet very different signature courses. The Ditch Hygiene Academy is for dental hygienists who are burned out. Maybe you've got the old aches and pains going on, and you're just simply ready for something different. Inside the Ditch Hygiene Academy, I teach you how to use your existing education and transition into myofunctional therapy without going back to school or doing it alone. You will get all the clinical training, all the business systems, and mentorship to start building a profitable myofunctional therapy practice that you will be excited about. This also comes with year-long one-on-one coaching with me and live Friday coaching and quarterly live get-togethers as well. Now, if you're already trained in myofunctional therapy, but you feel stuck because you don't know how to get clients or grow beyond your side hustle, then the Myo Business Accelerator is just for you. The MBA program is my step-by-step business and mindset program built around the profitable practice framework, designed to take you from where do I even start to I'm consistently booked and I'm making a lot of money. So whether you're a dental hygienist dreaming about your next chapter, or you're a trained therapist ready to finally build a profitable practice, you're in the right place. Wherever you're watching or listening to this, you can find a link to register for either program, or you can book a call to see what's right for you. Now, back to today's episode. No, is it not? You get to decide. Do you not have the capabilities or the abilities that make you equipped for your role as a myofunctional therapist? And let me tell you this is 100% truth, tough love, and also a shameless plug. If your answer is no here, then you clearly need to get into a different course, okay? And it happens. It happens all the time, okay? So just because you took a course and it says that you were supposed to have the skills for myofunctional therapy, if you deep down don't feel like you have the skills, you aren't going, this isn't imposter syndrome, okay? That's something else. And you can put lipstick on a pig, my friend, it's still a pig. It's a sunk cost. I don't care if it was $5, $10, to whatever $1,000. If you want a return on the investment and to have a successful online myofunctional therapy practice, you have to be able to have the knowledge to put to use, okay? So that was tough love. I think part of the reason that this shows up for you as a dental hygienist is because it's new. If you've been a dental hygienist for any amount of time, you have finally gotten comfortable in that role and that skill, and you feel qualified to be talking about whatever it is, okay? If you're a dental hygienist, you're talking with somebody about perio problems, perio disease, what dry mouth does to the mouth, all of these things. You feel comfortable because you know it. So this is new. That's okay. Do you not think that the orthopedic surgeon was nervous the first time that he was putting a bone back together? Sure. Okay. So step one, is it true? Okay. Simple answer. I ask myself all this time, is it true? No. Then let it go. Okay. Step two, find the evidence. So this note, I said here, gather your accomplishments and store them somewhere where you can revisit them, whether this is a Google Doc or your note in your phone, whatever. Okay. This is it's just your proof. Okay. Can you do hard things? Yes. You went to college, right? Yeah, that's proof. Not only did I go to college, but I went to college 4.0. I went to grad school MBA 4.0. Whoa. Say that 10 times fast. 4.0. I passed the boards. Okay, with like a 96%. I can do hard things. I got a license. Do you give injections? I've given injections. Oh my gosh, I started in an orange. And then I had days where I used to give, nigh on 200 injections a day at times. Okay, I have evidence that I can do hard things. So put them somewhere so that you know, so that you can go back and look at them, okay? Step number 3, replace negative thoughts with better ones. So this is a negative thought that I used to have, like, this isn't sustainable, and there might come a time when I don't have people who want to pay for what I do, okay? They don't want to pay for my expertise. That is not a helpful thought. Not only is it not true, but it's not helpful at all. So I want you to get in the habit of replacing that thought with something that is true and It's a better one. Okay. So because my mind, I'm human, I'm also female. And so I have hormonal imbalances at times. If you know, you know, right? So I still, to this day, can go through periods of time where I just feel like this may not be sustainable. And it's not a good thought. So I will replace it by looking at the notes that I keep. So I do keep the evidence handy. It's in my phone, it's on my computer, and I can go back and I can look at my monthly revenue. The only time I ever see a monthly revenue that's less than $10,000 a month is because I like to take a lot of time off. I like to work hard and play harder. So if I have a month where I'm only making $7,000, $8,000, if I look at my calendar, I'm likely on vacation for most of it. Or like last year when I supported my daughter through her 2 cancer surgery journeys, okay, I was just closed. So I go back and I can look at my monthly revenue and I can see months that say 10,000, 12,000, 15, 30, 40, 50. Up until recently, I didn't think I had ever had a $50,000 month until I went looking and realized, oh, I most certainly have. Okay. And you can bet that whenever my brain starts doing this cycling thing, this circling the drain, I can remember, oh, what are you worried about? Hey, I don't even need a 50,000 month every month. I'd be happy if I had a 50,000 month every few months. Okay. The moral of the story is that I can replace the negative thought with something better. And also I realize that I am in control of my outcome. I also have extraordinary faith, you guys, that I am on the right path and the right people are on my path too. And they are looking for exactly what I help them with. Okay. You might not yet be a student of mine, but let me tell you, the students who come to me, they know 100%. They heard my story or they have followed me for some time. I have built that know, like, and trust factor with them. And they know exactly. I don't have to sell. I don't have to do anything. They come to me. Carmen, I have been following you. I want you to lead me. Okay, so that was a big, long answer to replace your negative thoughts with better ones. Do this in your personal life as well. Okay, it makes a huge difference. Okay, step number 4, stop procrastinating. Procrastination emerges as a coping strategy for imposter syndrome, okay? Research shows that over 70% of people with imposter syndrome are using procrastination as a coping mechanism more than once a day. So many of you guys do this, okay? I really do not, okay? I really have gotten the procrastination under control. I like to tell my students about Mel Robbins. Gosh, I cannot talk today. It's like I have marbles in my mouth. Mel Robbins, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, do it, okay? So anytime I'm just feeling resistant to this, no BS, Carmen, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're just starting it. The other thing is, you've heard me say it before, I have become a woman who honors my calendar. And so that means if it's on the calendar, just like recording this podcast episode is right now, I'm doing it. I'm taking ugly and perfect action. I outlined it. I made some notes. I have mumbled some words up here, but guess what? I don't have time to go back and make it perfect, and that's okay because it doesn't need to be perfect. So count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it. Never, ever, ever is whatever it is you're avoiding, never is it as bad as you think it's going to be. Hard stop. Okay? All right, step number 5. Gag and go, my friend. So this is not my phrase. I learned this from my mentor, Olivia. It means just do it. Okay. Now, some of you guys don't love to get uncomfortable because you still have a hygiene job that is your safety net. And that's fine. That's fine if you still want to be spinning your wheels 5 years from now. Most of you guys do not come into my sphere because you want to just be doing an expensive hobby. you want to have a profitable myofunctional therapy business, okay? You want to be a profitable myofunctional therapist. So you don't have all the time in the world. Me, I either needed out of hygiene or I was going to need a casket. I was pretty sure. So I did not have any trouble doing it, but I want you to just gag and go. And that means you just do it anyhow, okay? The only way that you're going to get from here where you're at to over there across the great abyss into whatever dream life it is that you're after, that might be the freedom to work from anywhere. That might just be more money, the want to be a more present mama, to be able to travel, load up in your camper and go, see the United States, whatever that is. Her future, your future self, she is out there on the horizon. And so the distance for you to get from here to there, that's the gag and go. You've got to walk over the scaries. The only way to get there is going through all of this stuff, okay? And really the last thing I want to tell you guys is, of all the people that I have worked with, I've had exactly one person question my background, my training, all of that. And she was actually maybe the second or third client that worked with me. And she asked me this at a time where I was just starting my business. My prices were at about less than 25% of what they are now. So that was the answer. When she asked me, I said, hey, I understand that you're wondering about my background. I'm fully trained. I'm just starting out, which is why you're getting the discount that I'm offering you. Everybody needs to start somewhere. And so I don't want you being worried about that because most of them don't care. If they are attracted to you, that means there is something about you, because your ideal customer is not my ideal customer. My ideal customer is not your ideal customer. So the people who come to me and they already have their hand raised in the air and their wallet open, they want to work with me. Okay. And if you do your work, if you do the stuff that I teach you to do, you're going to be building an authority for yourself. So you're attracting the right people. I don't want you talking to everybody. I want you to become an expert of the exact right group of people that you're working with. And then you don't have to worry about them questioning you. But I just wanted you to know that I've had exactly one person ask me, and that was it. So all the nights that I didn't sleep well or whatever, it was all for nothing. All right, so what do I want you to do with this information? I'm going to give you some homework. Okay, we got to turn the confidence on. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do is to create your list of I did it. Okay, get proof of those things. 10 things that make you qualified to do this work. No matter what that is, how big or little that is, okay? Keep it visible on a sticky note, on your desktop, phone, whatever. Okay, so have that handy. Number 2, set one good enough standard this week. So perfectionism is really what slows a lot of you guys down. And then you start doing things like buffering on social media or just doing stupid things, okay? What does good enough look like for whatever the task is, okay? Perfectionism, nothing has to be perfect. You will hear me say it time and time again, ugly, imperfect action. Nobody expects perfection. And guess what? You're going to get better and better anyhow. So get comfortable with B+ work and remember that done is better than perfect. I'm almost done recording this episode. Is it perfect? No. Are you getting the gist of what I'm trying to tell you? Absolutely. Okay. So set a good enough standard on something this week. And then the last thing I want you to do is take action. Okay. So here's your gag and go. Here's your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever. You call it what you want. Action is the antidote for being stuck. So whenever I just feel like I am just, treading water in quicksand, just get moving, get the car in drive and go. Is it going to be perfect? Nope, but it might be. It might be good enough. Okay, so just get moving. This is kind of like working out. When you have a 30-minute workout planned and you just make yourself go do 10 minutes, you normally finish the whole 30-minute workout. So that, my friend, is it. That's all I have for you today. I've given your action items. Now go do them. And more importantly, until I am back with you next time, thank you so much for letting me be part of your journey to build a life that you are absolutely bonkers about. I will see you again soon. I hope you loved today's episode, friend. I pray that it lifted you up, motivated you, and taught you something. If so, would you stop right now and go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review? And lastly, make sure you've joined the Profitable Myofunctional Therapist Facebook community. Links to all the goodies can be found wherever you're listening to this podcast. That's it for now. Cheering you on, my friend, and we'll chat soon.